my friends, welcome back to a new video. Today I want to talk to you about the upcoming new moon solar eclipse on October 2nd, which is a continuation of the powerful transformative cycle started by the full moon lunar eclipse. I'm sensitive to energy, and every time when I sense a change in energy, I talk about it. And yesterday I've started feeling a very potent change that is only increasing, and if we know how to surf it, like how to work with it, we can really create powerful changes with it. And we're still in this phase of healing and letting go. So many of you may notice that it's very important to let go of what you've been relying on, but is not serving you anymore. It's like, maybe it's like a certain external stream of finances that is not making you feel independent, or maybe it's a person you're relying on and therefore you don't feel independent, or maybe it's a certain belief system that is not helping you to become who you came here to be. Or whatever you're noticing, it's not like forcing yourself to let go of something, but you may notice that at this point certain things are just not working for you anymore. And if you're feeling this way, then I would deeply encourage you to really identify what it is and notice if there is a part of you that is already saying to you it's all going to be okay, and how much your life would change if you would follow this inner impulse. So what is happening in astrology, they call it the South Node. It brings usually an energetic imprint with it that deeply make us feel a need to identify our anchors that are holding us back somewhere where we could actually thrive, but we feel stuck because of certain beliefs, habits, or actions that are making us looping in a familiar territory, but we are meant to evolve from this point on. So many of us may be feeling like there are certain outdated patterns, there are certain outdated limiting beliefs, there are certain outdated relationships, there are certain outdated activities at this point that now you're ready to let go. And I know letting go is not something we decide today, it's like something we're constantly reminding ourselves, I'm safe, I'm worthy of something new. And constantly designing a plan and adapting ourselves to that plan, and then still managing ourselves and being spontaneous. So sometimes we don't really feel following the plan, but we still make sure we don't do things same way as we've done them before. We make sure that we apply changes in our lives the way that we don't move same way as we did yesterday. We make sure we bring some refreshment into our lives every single day. And refreshment should come from the inspiration of the future self, like the vision you have for your future, the version of yourself you see in your mind's eye when you think about who you are in the future, as wiser you, more intelligent you, more evolved you, and then draw inspiration from that future you into this present moment and ask yourself, what's the energy of that new you? How do you feel, and how do you behave in your life if you stay connected with that new you? And I just love to remind people over and over again, don't lose the connection. Don't lose the connection with that new you. As soon as you lose it, it means you've fallen back into habitual self. When you connect with the energy of the new you, the future you, the higher you or greater you, however you want to call it, then this energy will inspire you to keep, working out, to keep creating, to keep working on that project, to keep believing into yourself, to keep feeling worthy, to keep loving yourself, and so on. Today I wrote for our Patreon and Instagram community a quick message that goes like this: let go of what you've been relying on that is limiting your greatness, independence, or joy. Right now, the energy is asking you to embrace even more your inner impulse, which is guiding you deeper into freedom and unconditional worthiness. You're worthy to receive, my friend. You can write it in the comment section. I'm worthy. I'm worthy to receive, I'm worthy of love, I'm worthy of kindness, or whatever it is for you. And firstly, if you truly feel worthy, you will treat yourself like that, right? So this is a powerful reminder. So 5 things you need to know. The first one is let go of what you've been relying on that is really limiting your greatness, independence, or joy. It doesn't mean let go of everything you're relying on, but something that is limiting your greatness, independence, or joy. Like sometimes we are surrounded with people who are constantly criticizing us, constantly blaming us, constantly projecting their limiting beliefs onto us. And I would say, hey, let go of these people. Like move away, move on. Find out your tribe, your community, or, whatever. Just move on. And you will immediately feel more worthy. You will immediately feel better. And not just that, you will become example for them that change is healthy, that moving on is healthy. It's a powerful thing you can do, and it's just something you may feel deeply, deeply encouraged to do right now. Then the second thing is fresh drive. A lot of fresh drive is coming, but only for changes. Fresh drive for changes. You may not feel driven anymore for doing things you've been doing until now that are not serving your growth anymore. So it's a Mars squaring eclipse, usually intensifying emotions. So there are 2 aspects to this. It's you may notice that people may be more chaotic during this time. People may run around on autopilot and quite stressed, or maybe even disoriented during this time, because when there's a lot of incoherency within our bodies, like a lot of negative emotions due to not well managed psychological activities and not taking time for ourselves and really resolving something that we should resolve, or identifying something we should identify, noticing what is really bothering us, what could be healed, what could be improved, what could be changed. When we don't notice that, well, all this negativity will be intensified. And, well, it makes people quite chaotic. It's not something to be afraid of, it's something to manage, it's something to sit with it. And during this time, if you will sit with yourself, a lot of realizations will actually reveal to you what to work on, what to focus on. And actually, if you open up, you will immediately notice what to do. It's not, it's the opposite of distraction. It's actually deep introspection that will lead you into a realization what to work on from now on. But then the other aspect of this is that it also brings to us a fresh drive for projects, for things that actually belong into our future. Like right now, I'm just feeling more driven for painting than anything else, and that's how I know that my future will be deeply, evolved around art, around what I'm doing as artistically, mission I'm doing with my art. I just feel like that. And therefore, right now, I'm feeling so deeply driven to paint, to create, to become more skillful at it. And I want you to pay attention. How are you feeling right now? Like what you feel driven about, or what you feel motivated for, what you feel excited about. And just recognize it. At this point, living is healing. Living is healing, fully living. Because when we immerse ourselves into what we feel really motivated about, what we feel really driven about. And I know sometimes people say, I don't feel motivation. I would say sit with your heart for so long that you will notice there's a fire within you. Sometimes we are so distracted by all these layers of beliefs and stories we've heard from others that we actually kind of disconnect from our own fire. But we need to sit with our hearts. We need to sit for as long as it's necessary to get in touch with that inner feeling. And living is healing from here on, my friends. Living is healing. So it may deeply influence relationships in your life. Like firstly, relationship with yourself, then relationships in your daily life with your family members. You may deeply notice that with certain people, it's just, there's no connection anymore. I need to move on. With certain people, the connection is deepening. Even though maybe a few months ago you still had maybe hopes for someone or wishes or desires for someone, right now you can clearly see where you are with them. Then professional relationships as well may be affected, noticing with whom you have future with whom you don't have future with. And then relationship with divine may be strengthening so much more right now, which can be experienced as a deep sense of trust, deep sense of knowing. Like when someone would ask you, do you believe in God? At this point, many of you may just say, hey, I know God. Like I've experienced this so many times. My life was at such a maybe miserable place, and then something happened, and therefore I just know. I just know that I'm part of something bigger. And these are just realizations that are happening for us at this point, because where we are going from here, well, we will need that. We'll need this connection, and yeah, for many of us, it's just a great awakening. And then the third part of this message is deeper remembering. Deeper remembering. So what do I mean by that? Well, I just feel we have all come here to remember. But we firstly move through situations, moments, and experiences in our lives that actually disconnect us from remembering of who we truly are, only so we would start questioning who we are. And once we start questioning who we are, what's our place here, what's our purpose, and what do I need to do, what is God, or any of that, I think life starts taking us onto a journey. It's like an adventure that's filled with challenges and, the dark night of the soul, purification, all of that. So at some point we wake up and we recognize there are certain dots that connect. Like certain things worked out in my life the way I could never explain how it happened or why it happened, but it did. And more we start connecting the dots, and so many of you have already been until now through so many dark nights of the soul that you can connect the dots, and this is leading you to a deeper remembering. Deeper remembering means that suddenly you don't need to remember anymore or memorize poverty anymore or pain or suffering anymore. Now you want to remember abundance, remember bliss, remember joy. And as you want to remember joy more, you want to tap into joy more frequently, right? It's like, I want to remember how abundance feels like, so therefore I will create abundance for myself, so I can memorize it, so I can live in it, right? That's why people are constantly returning back into pain or back into fear, because that's what they know. Like if you've only memorized poverty for yourself, that's where you will live. But if you want to remember abundance, then you will create a life of abundance so you can memorize it. And this is the art of living, is truly recognizing I want to remember a feeling that is really beyond of my familiar zone. That's why I'm constantly saying to you, have that vision of the future, so you can wake up inspired to embody it more today. Every single day you can wake up inspired to embody it. That's how you remember how your future feels like, so then you can embody it, integrate it, until you inform the field that manifests reality. It's not the reality that emanates the field of energy, it's the field of energy that creates matter. It's science. So every time you start remembering how your future feels like, how more joy feels like, more abundance feels like, how your purpose feels like, how passion feels like, you tap into the memory of it and you start informing the field that's creating life for you, that you're willing to enter into this and you're willing to manifest it. So the point is that you wake up and remember who you are and how you want to live your life. This is something that is just awakening within you. As you're letting go of the past, you're also embodying more of this memory of who you are. As Socrates used to say, we're not really learning new things, we're only remembering. Because at a certain level of our soul, we already know everything. There's nothing new that's been created in this universe. It's only a creation that's already finished, and we are tapping into new information, into undiscovered information for our own ignorance, and therefore we remember what was already there. And that's what's happening to so many of us. Then the fourth part to this message is transmutation. Transmutation, as I mentioned, Pluto is in this phase of transition. And this is quite a big thing this year. And many of you are quite aware of it, and that's why so many changes are happening. It's transitioning into a sign of Aquarius, and it's causing quite a transformation in our lives. So the reminder here is transmute what is not really providing you a sense of freedom into freedom. Transmute it into freedom. So I will explain it. Well, firstly, I think when we're afraid of something, we're only afraid of it because we don't have any greater perception about it or greater understanding about it. Like, people could be afraid of their future because they don't have any belief that it could be otherwise. It could be otherwise, or it could happen differently. They don't have a belief into possibility. And when we don't have a belief into possibility, then we have no hope. We have really no hope that something can change. So the opposite approach is to truly create a hope that's based on believing into possibility. But believing into possibility means that you see a possibility in your mind's eye. You have a creative mind of imagination where you can imagine a new you coming to life. And every time you see a possibility, then the question is how this possibility feels like. And if you can really imagine it, notice it, and ask yourself, how would you need to adapt your lifestyle to this possibility? Then adapting your lifestyle to this possibility will also make you feel more as it is possible, because you will notice that actually you can overcome fears, actually you can overcome anxiety, actually you can overcome sadness, actually you can overcome anything and just become more of this new you. And this process is called transmutation. You transmute the old. In alchemy they said you transmute the lead into gold. And in spiritual alchemy it was called that you transmute darkness into light. And therefore you enlighten your soul by investigating your own darkness and kinda integrating higher understanding into your darkness. Like for some of us, darkness may be our shame, our deepest shame, being ashamed of something. And then enlightenment of this shame could be awareness, oh, I am ashamed of this. But then transmutation is this shame doesn't need to hold me back anymore. I can do what I wanted to do anyway, and then the process of transmutation will happen while you are actually doing what you've been ashamed of doing, like making videos for YouTube, for example, or doing public speeches, or going door to door selling something, or I don't know, whatever, for yourself what is holding you back, what darkness is holding you back, how to acknowledge it, what's the process of transmutation. This is something you're going through and you can't avoid it at this point. Like, this is something we're all going through, but it's just becoming more intense because, well, life is actually celebrating your healing. And to anyone who's waking up at this point, will most probably in the near future become a healer, a teacher, or a guide for something that will be needed for those people who are not waking up yet, most probably. So I just want you to encourage yourself that it's all okay, that what's happening is okay, that you're being guided and you're being protected, that everything is okay. And just feel worthy. Just feel worthy for whatever is finding you. And then the last thing that I want to give you with this message is a new level of self-worth, a new era of abundance. A new era of abundance is awakening for you. So whatever it is, some of you are already financially abundant, and for those of you, you may start experiencing a deeper self-worth, like not needing to be identified so much with this material abundance anymore, and therefore you will feel maybe even more motivated to share it with others, or to support a greater cause, or you will come across great opportunities to support someone, or things like that. And to those of you who are not financially abundant yet, if you're really increasing your energy levels by doing what is right, by acknowledging your self-worth, you will start to meet opportunities that will also increase levels of abundance in your life. And it will just start happening from here on, not by doing nothing, but by being aware, noticing opportunities, and being courageous enough, grabbing them, doing something with them, and moving on that path of evolution that is a path of constant change that aims towards the greatest expression of yourself. So this is something that is very, very supportive right now. And if you're aligning with this, then I feel that you're on a really incredible path. If you're not aligning with this, then you may feel a bit challenged by life, like maybe feeling more disoriented, maybe feeling a lack of purpose, a lack of motivation, being tired more frequently, which is nothing wrong with any of that. I just, if I would feel like that, I would sit with myself in quietness, or I would play some inspiring music, and I would really just tap into my heart. If I would need for 1 hour, 2 hours, 3 hours, whatever I would need to really figure out what is my place here, what I want to do with my life. And then I would invest all of myself into becoming that me. So this is something I would suggest to you right at this point. I hope you found something valuable today, and I hope you've enjoyed in today's artwork as well. I'm sending you lots of love, my friends, blessings and power. Thanks to everyone for supporting my art in our store, AttractPassion.com. You're all truly appreciated. You can find prints of my art, original paintings, some incredible products like mugs and shirts and stickers, a lot of great things. So go and check it out. Thank you so much for your support with that. You're supporting this mission, bringing the message out. And also thanks to everyone for joining our Patreon community for more exclusive content. Till next time, one love.